Hi, everybody. Happy Friday.
Hi.
We are together again for our bi-weekly video cast. And I'm Jenny Dalby. You guys know me. This is my sister Katie. And we're here to talk again about some things to encourage you guys, to inspire you, and to laugh together. And we hope that you'll grab a cup of coffee. Cheers. You like my fall cup?
I love it. You can't
Oh
see
my,
mine, but it's my Ocean Child one.
I love it. Mine says, oh my word, it's fall.
Love that.
So grab your cup of coffee and let's just have like a ladies chat this morning. So first things, getting down to business. So we need your help figuring out what to call this. We don't have a name and we're just both blanking. So we would love your ideas. Please like comment or message and tell us what you think we should name this because we're really struggling. It's just like a fun, goofy, lighthearted, inspirational time, like girls chat, whatever. So any ideas you have along the lines, let us know. Um, okay, so Katie, what you been up to?
Oh man, I've been up to a lot. um, I've been busy, but really good in a good way. I've been buying a ton of stuff for my business. I finally got like a business account for like all my income going in there, and like all my inventory will come out of there. So I just wanted to get it more organized for my taxes and just for myself, so I could keep everything a little bit more on track. So I am so excited because I bought like I went onto the websites, like all the professional websites, and I bought like wholesale stuff, which is the first time I've ever done that. And it was terrifying because I'm like, oh, this is a lot of money. but but I found a way to do it like to where it was comfortable for me. Hashtag Afterpay. I love Afterpay. It's so amazing. Or like Affirm. There's different websites that you can use, but I just think it's so great because then like I don't have a huge chunk coming out, but I can have like little bits coming out at a time. I mean, they're still bigger, but it works for me. So I bought like a ton of wax, like a ton, so I won't be out for a long time. And I bought some new products. I have new services coming to the menu soon. And then shoot,
What are
I
your new
can't remember.
what are your new services?
Well, I'm going to be doing brow laminations. That's like, it's almost like a perm for your brows, but it makes them straight so it stays in place. And then brow tinting and lash tinting. At this point, I'm not doing lash lifts just because I don't like love to do it. But yeah, so I'm really excited to get those on my menu and start doing it. And I have a couple new clients coming in. So that's kind of what inspired me to add these services. And I've been wanting to anyways. So it just kind of like worked out to where it pushed me. I love how things like that work out and just happen, which is like totally on point for today's topic. So
I'm so excited for you. And
yeah,
I love that this is such a big thing. I hear a lot of like smaller businesses, newer entrepreneurs, and especially people in the beauty industry tend to like not have little things like that in place, like a business
yeah,
account and tracking your money. And guys, if you have a business, you have to be tracking your money. You've got to have a business account set up and you got to be tracking your revenue because here's the thing, it's not just like an organizational tool. Most of the time you're making more money than you think you are, and you don't know it until you start tracking your money. And it's really important for your mindset and your own belief in yourself to be able to actually know what's coming in and also to be able to track, like, I tried something different this time. Let's see how it worked out based on the dollars. Like I was coming from a different perspective. I was practicing different thoughts. I was trying different techniques, whatever. You have to be able to track what's happening when you do those things, or else you're never going to know what worked and you're not going to be able to do any kind of evaluations. So
that's
that's
so
so good
true.
that you got that set up.
I know. And it's so funny because this week at school, I was teaching, I don't know if anybody like knows this or I've talked about this before, but I'm also an aesthetics master instructor. So I teach aesthetics like 3 days a week, well, 4 days a week. But so this week we were talking about business stuff, and I literally was using, because I use the Square app, I was using that as an example for everything because the book is like really outdated. And so they were like, there's software you can use to track your spending and your income coming in. And I was like, Square does everything. They do analytics. They do like, they keep track of which services are like the most money making for you, like which days you performed best on. I mean, it goes above and beyond, and it's free. So I absolutely love it. It's just so easy for me to use. Everybody might have their own thing, but I highly recommend, no matter what, if you have a business, to have something like the Square app to where you can really be organized and keep track of everything, because you were the one who told me to start like tracking my money. And before, it was coming in from like a million different ways. Like I was like Cash App, Venmo, Cash, sometimes check, like every now and then, Apple Pay, Facebook Pay. I was just like too much. And so I finally, after talking to you, and I don't know, we did a couple sessions, I finally got into alignment with, okay, I'm just doing my Square. Like everyone's going to come in and swipe their card and that's it. And I'm so glad I did that, because it's just been easy. Like I know what came in automatically because it tracks it. It's just great. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're a business owner and you are using like a million different payment portals, stop it. Stop it and go switch to one. It's insane. It is a nightmare for taxes, and it's just so inefficient for you to be able to track anything. So have the confidence to know that your customers will pay you through whatever payment portal you provide.
Yes. And I wanted to say this really fast too, because I've been a business owner for so long, but when you are a business owner and you go try to take out a loan for something, it's really hard to do that if you don't have your money organized. And so with the Square, I've created my own business account. So I can use that in addition to other income that I have, like my regular bank account, but this will be like my pay stub, and it's like official. They will actually recognize that. So I can use my bank statements to show them that. If you don't have something like that set up, it's very hard to get a loan. And they will only approve you for the amount of money that they can actually qualify, like they can see on paper. So I just really, really recommend doing this. Game changer.
And that made me think about, like, you mentioned that your textbook at the school is really outdated. And I thought, like, when has that never not been the case? Like in every class I ever took about business, like everything was old and outdated. And even if it was like a newer edition, it just never included the things you actually need to know for everyday life. Like entrepreneurship is one of those things that you need to learn from other entrepreneurs, and by doing it yourself. It's just not something you can learn from a textbook.
That is so true. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Awesome. Yay. I'm so happy for you. Yeah. Yay. Good things are happening.
What's been going on with you?
Well, let's see here. I got some new jewelry. I got my new. Can you see these? Aren't they pretty? They look so like, I love them because it looks like moon phases inside of each other. And then I got a new ear cuff. This really pretty, like wrapped wire looking ear cuff.
I love that.
So that's always something new with me is jewelry. Other than that, I've been like doing a lot of resting. Like, grief has just really come up again for me lately. Like, I think when you're grieving, you're just always learning how to grieve in the most like healthy way possible. It's just such a learning experience. And like, I, like most people, have a tendency to want to just like stuff everything and like keep going and like keep pushing through. And like, so for me, really like practicing actually letting myself grieve and like resting and relaxing and like taking time out to really take care of myself is always something that's constantly I'm improving. That's always on my mind. So I've just, like ever since Dad's obituary came out, I've been grieving on like a whole nother level. So that's honestly what's been up with me is like learning how to like grieve and also be productive and be in like a growth mindset at the same time. And man, that's been like the learning experience of my life. But truly, like that video I put out yesterday about that, it has been the biggest and most valuable lesson of my life too, because I'm learning how to grow from a place of rest and like grow and heal from a place of grief. And it's just like the craziest two things that just you let coexist, and it's like they can be there together and they don't have to, it's like the grief doesn't have to cancel out everything else.
Yeah, that's so crazy because I feel like you and I, like we're like literally walking the same path, grieving at the same time, the same thing, we're sisters, but like we grieve in such different ways. And it's really interesting to see how, but sometimes it's similar, like it's just interesting to see how two people grieving the same thing can grieve totally differently. And you've taught me how not to stuff my feelings. Like, it took me a little bit, I was stuffing my feelings for a while. But then came this like really beautiful acceptance for me. And it's just been a really, I don't know, a really amazing growing experience for me. Like, I remember, I think it was your coach that told you, or some, I don't know, that told you that you just become a totally different person after grief. And it's like, it's so true. But I feel like you go through this like valley and it's dark, and sometimes you still go in it, but like you start to come out of it at this like really refined mess, but it's beautiful. And then you become like this amazing butterfly. It's the evolution after grief is, I don't know, it's crazy. And I too have been kind of going through my own grief too. Like, when I passed my test the other day, my instructor exam, which I was really happy that I passed. I was really like struggling. I remember texting Holly, our stepmom, and I was so excited to text her. And then all of a sudden it hit me that I couldn't text my dad too. And I just was like, I just started bawling in the car, and I hadn't cried for like probably 3 weeks over it, just because I'm in a good place with myself, and I talk to him all the time, so it doesn't feel like he's not there. But when it really hits you, like you can't physically call them, it's really hard,
Yeah, it really is. I get that. I had my birthday like 2 weeks after he died. So like I got to experience a major milestone day like right after, and that was really hard. I had a complete breakdown. A couple days before my birthday. Thankfully, I got it over with before the birthday, so my actual birthday was really fun.
But I know, I felt so bad for you, and I was like, I told everybody, I'm like, we need to make sure she has a really good birthday. Like, so, we bought you all that jewelry that you wanted. I was like, whatever she wants. I know.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, so we always have quotes that we share every time we meet. So let's share our quotes for the day. And I think we both kind of like tied them in with our topic for the day too. So how about we'll just like share our quotes and then kind of let that roll into our topic for the day. So I'll share mine. So mine is literally one of my all-time favorite quotes, and it's by Rumi, and it says, "What you seek is seeking you." And like, I don't know if there is a quote out there that makes me feel as good as that quote does. Like, the reminder that I don't have to force anything, that I don't have to go and like try to aggressively make things happen, that I just need to show up and like do my part and do the work. And that like what I want wants me back. Like, it's reaching for me as much as I'm reaching for it. And like, it's just so encouraging and makes me feel so good and peaceful every time I think about it. So what's your quote?
Oh my God, I love Rumi so much. Like, I have some quotes. Obviously I can't remember, so I'll have to find them, but they're my favorite. So I'm just like, oh yes, I feel that. So my quote is more of like an affirmation that I found off of TikTok that's really popular. And if everyone or anyone is in the self-help kind of world in TikTok, you're going to know what I'm talking about because it's like viral. But it says, "I don't chase, I attract. What is meant for me will simply find me." I might be saying that a little weird, but that's how I say it anyways. And I just love it so much because when I say it, like, I really like pause and I like close my eyes and I feel it. Like, I don't chase whatever I'm thinking about. Like, I don't chase money. I don't chase men. I don't chase friendships or whatever, success. I attract. Like, it's just such an empowering and feminine and like flowy thought, like I just attract and I just can sit here. And although I'm living my life and doing what I have to do, I'm still just letting the stuff come to me that is meant for me. And I just love it so much. And people have been like having amazing breakthroughs on TikTok. It's so much fun to watch people just tell their stories about it. But I do have to say that a lot of people will be like, oh yeah, I want to say this quote and like, it's going to change my life. But you can't just say it, like, or the affirmation, you can't just say it and like go on your way and like think that's it. You have to really feel it in your body. And that's like the basis of manifestation, is feeling the feelings of having what you want and being very, very present in that moment with it. And then kind of like then going off in your day and living your life with that feeling kind of like resonating inside of you. So,
oh my gosh, that's so accurate. Everybody thinks that like affirmations is just like, I say the thought, I hear it, I repeat it over and over and over again. Like that's going to get me what I want. No, the key to manifestation is you have to feel it. And really that comes down, honestly, to the model, which is the tool that I use in my coaching. And it's really just explaining the process of self-fulfilling prophecies, of how you think a thought, it causes you to feel a feeling. It could, then that feeling causes you to take an action. So if I'm feeling inspired, if I'm feeling like expansive, like anything is possible, I'm going to go do things to make that happen. So then you take action based on those feelings. And that's what causes you to draw in and to like create what you want. Like you take, for example, let's take it like to a really basic example. Like you think like, I can have more clients or more people want my services, right? Which then causes you to put out some more posts or create some promotions or whatever. And then you're feeling super confident. And then people feel that they can read it in what you write and what you say. And then they respond back to it and be like, yeah, totally. I want that service, right? So there's a really practical element to manifestation in that your feelings create your actions. And then that creates your results, right? And then also I do really think that there is a very like energetic component to that too. People can feel your vibes. People say this a lot of different ways, like your aura, your vibes, whatever. I don't know how else to explain it except that like we've all been around people where it's like you could sense things about them without ever talking to them. Like you just automatically felt repelled by them. You felt drawn to them, whether or not however you explain that to yourself, we have to reconcile the fact that it's just true and it's real. And that is just a reality of life. And so that is a big component too, like the thoughts that we think and the feelings we feel from those thoughts create our vibes that we're giving off, and whether or not we like energetically stink or like energetically like draw people in.
Yes.
So this whole topic really is tied in with feminine energy and being in our feminine energy. And feminine energy is it's very attracting. It's very like drawing. It's very like relaxed and fun and flowy and like going with the flow and letting things come to you and having fun and all the things that kind of like go in and out of that realm. It's the opposite of masculine energy, which is much more taking charge, dominating, accomplishing, going after things, like all those different things. And this is a very in-depth topic we could talk about for a very long time. Like, everybody can step into different energies at any point in time. Like we all, there are times when women can step into masculine energy, men can step into feminine energy sometimes, but typically, and I say typically because there are different scenarios, sometimes like exceptions, but typically women are more successful and feel better in their feminine energy, and men are more successful and feel better in their masculine energy. And it's just what is naturally like built into us as men and women. So with women, like it's, so much more productive for us to be in our feminine energy. And that's something that I've like really had another reminder of lately, because the thing is when we are hurting and when we're grieving and when we're triggered and we're wounded, we tend to go more to the opposite energy than our natural energy. So like with grief, it has been a real like constant effort for me to stay in my feminine energy. I have wanted to I have flipped kind of naturally at times back to my masculine because, you're hurting, you're in pain, and it's hard to stay in those really positive places and positive thoughts and positive feelings. And so we kind of like flip. And so I've really had to put like a conscious effort into like checking myself and being like, I feel like I'm trying to control things right now. Like, I feel like I'm trying to force things and this doesn't feel good. Like, okay, relax, like take some breaths, settle back into your feminine energy, like trust that things are going to work out. And I think that's where manifesting really comes in, is like, it steps us back into that trust that things are going to work out, that like we don't have to force things that have to happen. Like things are going to flow, and we just have to step back and really like trust and allow that to happen.
Yeah, that's very true. And I have to say too that, you know, in the midst of you like struggling, because we all do that, women, like we struggle, you know, and I feel like there's two different ways you can go. Like you can go towards the control part of it where you're just like, no, I have to control because you're afraid, like you feel out of control, so you have to get in control. And the more feminine way would be, honestly, like if you're still in a bad place, like just surrender to that, like just admit it, like I am in a bad place, like I am here in this place right now and I'm just surrendering to this feeling, these feelings, this moment, and then getting back more into like the healthy aspects of it. But it's like it's okay to have those negative feelings like that. Owning it is a very feminine thing, you know, stepping into the power of realizing that you are miserable sometimes is like, you know, that's what we have to do as women, even men, and we have such a hard time doing that, you know.
Oh my gosh, that's so accurate. Like, because really, when you surrender to it and you acknowledge it, that's when you step back into that more relaxed, flowing place. It's like, this is here. I'm not going to fight it anymore. Because anytime we go into that fighting resistance of our own emotions, that steps us right into the masculine. Like that
Yes.
fighting, that resisting is totally masculine energy. But truly, like you said, just accepting it, letting it be there, not judging it is a very feminine response to pain. And honestly, I really believe this is why a lot of couples have breakups during grief. I think this is why it destroys a lot of relationships, is because we don't know how to let our emotions be there, to let our pain be there, to let it just sit with it, to not fight it, and to just stay in our natural energy. For women, our feminine energy; for men, their masculine, and kind of let those things coexist in a way that we're still able to show up for women in our feminine energy with our partners, even though we're hurting, by like not fighting it, not pushing it down, not denying it, not stuffing it. And I think that causes a lot of, like, when we're in the opposite energy, like opposites attract. And so when you don't have that polarization, then it causes the relationship to start having like tons of fights and friction, and like that attraction kind of starts to dissipate. And of course, there are other reasons relationships fall apart during grief. Sometimes the relationship wasn't good to begin with. Sometimes like the partner isn't good at supporting the other one. But I think a lot of times we don't realize that it causes us to step out of our feminine energy. And then that kind of starts to like set a bad like cycle into place.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And also, like, you know, a feminine thing too in the midst of grief or whatever is admitting that you need some space, like taking time to really care for yourself. So like nobody's going to care for you better than you care for yourself, you know, not even your partner. And so really like grabbing hold of what you need, and if you need some space, communicating that with your partner or the people around you, like what I need right now is this. And yes, like you said, sometimes the partner is not supportive, and that's when usually it fails. But if your partner is supportive, then they're going to be like, whatever you need, you know, I'm here. And that is a very masculine thing for a man to say, like to allow the woman to be whatever she needs to be and to be in the moment, feel her feelings and deal with whatever she's dealing with, while also being kind of like the anchor for her, you know, and being there for her. So it's just, it kind of goes both ways. But yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah, I totally agree. Like self-care is so huge in feminine energy, in grief, like honoring your needs. And you're right, saying I need alone time. There have been times where I had to tell my boyfriend, like, I need to be alone and I need to cry. And I would go into the bedroom and I would just sob, and it would get really loud. So afterwards he'd be like, that was so hard to hear, but he would give me so much space, you know, to cry. And it's so powerful, because when we come back together, because I've honored my needs and I've stayed in my feminine energy, and then I've allowed myself to grieve, like when we come back together, it's so much healthier and more connected and all of those things.
I love that so much. And it's funny because I went through dad's death, like single. And so it was really weird. I don't even know like how to explain it. It wasn't like harder or easier. It just was weird and different. But I have my kids, and especially Jackson, he's with me all the time. And so I was kind of dealing with that with them and like communicating to them as kids, like as boys, like what mommy needs and like what mommy's feeling. And then also being there for them because they just lost their grandpa. So, it really showed up more with Jackson just because he's naturally here all the time. But it was really, really cool to see how much that really brought us closer together. And it almost like softened a part of both of us and like strengthened a part of both of us that I don't know, we just never really like were aware of before.
Absolutely.
So it's really cool how it like it transforms people.
Yeah. Oh, I love that so much. All right, you guys, we have to get off of here today, but I really think that we can leave some takeaways with everybody. And I think that is one, to really like check yourself. If you are in a mode of like striving and pushing and fighting and trying to control things, to really step back and take some time to relax today and to talk yourself through like, how can I trust that like God has my back, that the universe has my back, that like that things are going to work out for me, that what I seek is seeking me, and that I can attract what I want and need in my life. And how can I make that happen? What thoughts can I think to create the feelings for me to be able to do that? And then also, like, how can I really do more self-care today? Like, how can I create a self-care plan for myself where I'm making sure that I'm taking care of me first so that I'm not trying to pour from an empty cup? Because that self-care is so important and really is such an integral part to a healthy relationship.
Oh my gosh. I feel like we need to do a whole video on self-care.
Let's do it.
I'm like, keep your mouth shut. Don't talk about it now.
All right. Awesome. Well, you heard it here first. Self-care topic coming up next. And I think we may talk about grief more in a future episodes too, because that's such a topic that like everybody has to deal with. We all grieve someone and something at some point in our lives. So don't forget to comment or message your ideas for names for this. We would love your help. And thank you so much for being with us today. And cheers to the morning.
Cheers.
Top of the morning to ya.
Boom. Top of the morning.
Bye.
Oh my gosh. Bye.